Hang on. I just need to close these windows. We're turning on the air conditioner. It is so hot in California right now. Excuse me. All right. Whew, it's hot here. It is hot, hot tamales. Hot, hot tamales, girls. So it's apron day, so I don't get fully dirty. Hello, everybody from YouTube. Welcome. All right, come on, fingers, work. Work, fingers, work. So, welcome to Fun Friday. I'm going to call this Fun Friday. We are going to be doing YouTube every Friday. I normally, oh geez Louise, did I do it wrong again? I usually do oh good grief, I don't know what I did. Okay, usually I'm doing TikTok 3 times a week with Facebook. And I decided this time we're going to start doing Fun Fridays so that we can also build up our YouTube page. So, we have a little doll bowl that we're going to make look beautiful. So, let's put on some gloves so I don't get full of dirt as less as possible. Oh my goodness. And I know for all of you on YouTube, you normally see tons of pictures posted constantly every day, just about, not every day, that's a lie, excuse me. About every 3 days a week you'll see posts of different pictures. And if I don't put a picture, I usually try to put a scripture. I'm not too great with it for YouTube, but the brain needs to work on something new and something good. And because I am working on, getting things moving a little bit more, this is what you do. This is what you do. So I found 3 of these cute little doll bowls that somebody created out of what? I have no clue. As you can see, they did their best to make this creation out of a small doll bowl. Actually, they did really good. Once you start to decorate it a bit, it even looks much nicer. Much nicer. So in order to do this, what I'm going to do to it, I need a heat tool. A very strong heat tool, which is this guy, Seek One. In order to make it better. Better. So, if you see the descriptions in my post, one will show you my page name, I believe. The next one will show you a link to Wood You Bend, which is what I'm going to be using, and this is 351. Some beautiful little flowers with roses and leaves. And so this is one of my most favorite objects, or not objects, good grief, products to use. I truly love this stuff. It's like, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful, and there's so many different ways you can use it, that this is why I want to do it this way. All right, so I'm thinking right now, and I need my stain. Hang on, let me grab it. I knew I didn't tie that apron right. So I have a stain from Dixie Belle. It's called Tobacco Road. And what I love about this is that no matter what you're staining, it will enhance the color depending on the type of wood that you're using. So I did my grandmother's coffee table, which we figure must be at least 70 years old, maybe a bit more older than that, not quite sure, because of course Gram's in heaven now, and my aunt didn't remember, and of course she's in heaven. I got one aunt left to ask, so I think I'm going to ask her. All right, so I'm going to paint her with Paint Pixie's Saturé color. Here it is. And she's beautiful. It's like already putting a stain on her. But I need to stain these little ladies first. And then, after I stain her, we're going to paint the dough bowl, letting these little ladies sit for a bit. And I love these. They're great to put your pigments in. So let's stain our little ladies. And I'm going to use this. It is one of the boards that the trims come on. And if you purchase the trims, you get two, one on this side and one on the opposite side of it, which is really nice. So let's stain our little wood bend pieces. And I honestly didn't even know that we could stain these. And I seen one of our girls do it, and I was in love with it. In love. So I thought, let's stain her. What am I looking for? Besides my brain. All right, I guess I'm just going to do it with this paintbrush. And I carry these little bowls next to me all the time. I would say it's good to shake your stuff because everybody knows things separate. I'm like, don't open it that way though. And then it will help me too. I don't know how much I need. Probably not that much. I think I'm going to need to get me some little cloths in here. And I think, you know what would be the best? Old socks. Old socks. If your husband has socks, if your kids have socks that's starting to get whole, they're great for polishing your furniture or whatever else you can think of. So I'm just going to dab it on here. Let it do its thing. And then I want to pull some of it off. That's a good way to do it. And I am an affiliate for Widget. Of course, why not, right? Why not? And I do want to get every inch of the stain on here. Now, she does look quite dark, but and then I'm going to take a paper towel and use this one. I always have paper towels extra all around me. Now, one of the good things about this, because of all the little grooves that you see in here, you see all the little grooves that you see in there, the best thing to really use instead of this brush, actually I should be using this one because it comes to a point somewhat, is to use the Widget Bin brushes that are like this, because they're really great for getting into all the crevices. But because this is so small, I'm choosing to use the little guy. Now, the more you stain it, like I said, depending on the wood, the more it darkens. So I did my Graham's table, and mind you, being that old, you wouldn't think that, you know, the wood would hold or that it would be good enough to do or whatever's popping into everybody's brains, you know. But I sanded it all down really well, and I was totally impressed on the texture of the wood and how well it was made in comparison to the way they make things now. And it came out gorgeous. And I did have to stain it, I believe, 3 times, if I'm not mistaken, to get it to come out really well. Now, I don't want this to come out super dark, and I don't want it to come out super light either, because we are going to add some pigment to it. But I really think socks would work great for this part that I'm doing. And I wouldn't use cotton balls because you're going to get fuzzies in your stuff everywhere. But as you can see, the paper towel's not really soaking up too much where it's going to mess it up. I'm going to have to search for certain rags or something that I could use. I just think, you know, if you're using something like your husband's dirty socks or your boys', it's like, ew, even if they are washed. But this does work, and I do love it. And I don't want it to be the same color. So I could have just glued them on and made them all the same color as the Saturé. But it's nice to have things in a different tone, a different look, or whatever you want to say, or how you want to say it. I'm not new to this community. I've had my shop, I should say, 6 years. I finally got brave and opened up an Etsy shop 3 years ago. Actually, it was 4 years ago, but we've had some unkind people stealing my pages and the legal name, but whatever. I move forward. I don't let things get to me too much. Okay, so if you look at the difference of the two, you could tell one's a tiny bit lighter. A little bit lighter. You see that? And I think this is good. I don't want to go too dark with this, so probably even a lighter brush would have worked better so that you could see the difference in the texture of the paint. Because, as I said, I really don't want them to look the same. And when I get finished with it, on another live, I will be adding a floral arrangement to the dough bowl. I mean, if you really think about it, you could use this without the flowers, though. I would put a different image. Maybe the image of a little lion, because we have lion images. Or maybe a fleur-de-lis. I'm just thinking of a man right now, because I don't do a lot of things for men. It's all home decor for businesses. I do doctor's offices, things like that. But Father's Day's up, and I get stumped. It's like I can't figure out what to do. But I should think of what I did for my own daddy. I did a really nice box. And I don't remember what I put on it. I think there was buffalo check on it. And I'm like, good grief, what was on it? I don't remember what I put on it. But it was a good sized box. And I think I did one for my husband as well. Oh, I know what I did for him. So the box was pretty big. It was about this size and deep, gaddies. And what I did was decorated it and did it all. And I like to put velvet in the inside of the box. So let's say it's for either a woman, a child, a man, whoever, and you're throwing stuff in the box and you hear this clink, you know, you hear this. And it's like, you don't want to hear that. So, or I don't want to hear it. So I put velvet, black velvet or brown velvet, whatever the color of the box is. I try to put the velvet in there so that it's nice and you don't see that. So see it now, how nice it looks? Kind of like a root beer brown. You see that, everybody? So that's that for that part. All right, I'm going to put them right there. And I've got some Byzantine gold pigment already made up. And if we need to add a little bit more to it, we will. And normally I wouldn't paint the inside of this, but I've had 3 of these, okay? And so I did the first one and I went right to the edge here. And what I realized is that I needed to paint all of this inner portion of it. So that's what I'm gonna do this time. So I'm gonna take a little sander, and I am gonna open up with the sander. I call it opening the wood a bit, because it helps it to like take off anything just in case there's a sealer on there of any sort, and so that when you do go to paint it, it will take without an issue. I mean, you could use a product like Slick Stick or something, but I don't think it's that slick where it would need that, personally. So a little scuffing from the little gator sander does the trick. It will do the trick. Get a little bit of the wood off, and then when you go to paint it, everything will take just nicely for you, like you want it to. My grandfather had a wood shop, but he, mind you, in the 20s and 30s, a little bit of the 40s, he owned a wood shop that he did surveyor stakes. And if you don't know what those are, in the old days when they were building homes, I don't even know if they still use them. They might. He would make these, think of a pencil. Okay, a pencil is square, well, it's round, but some are square at the top, come all the way down, slim and square, all the way around, and then when they get to the bottom of it, comes to a full point, like you're going to actually write something. And they would take those and take a hammer and hammer them into the ground and go to the next section of the property of whatever they were building, and that would be their dimensions and their ground of knowing where they're going to go, where the bedrooms are, where the next room is going to be, or whatever they're building. And so he did that, and he literally had contracts with the government when they were in the war. Whatever they were building for the army as well, you know. And I don't save these when they get like this. I just toss them. I just think it's better to just get rid of it. And then you can just put a clean one on when you're ready for the next project. So I'm just rubbing it off, getting that little excess sandy dust off of it. As I said, I'm not worried about the inside, but I will get the whole outside of it taken care of. All right. But yeah, that's what my grandfather did. And he literally had these giant saws hanging from the top of the ceiling, and it would just go, how could you do this? It wasn't going this way. It was going this way with it, like that. And he'd put these pieces of wood on this big slab board and push them through, and he'd have this saw going like this, hanging from the ceiling. It was crazy. But cool, you know, it was really cool. Okay, I'm not going to use this one again. Or am I? Or am I? Let's see if I can get this off of here. I don't want to mix it. See how it didn't come off? Let me see if I can get it off of the white. Otherwise, I'm just going to use my other little jar. So I like buying these little glass jars from the Goodwill. I'm not the Goodwill. Good grief. Dollar Tree. And using them for my paint. Whatever I'm mixing in it. And if I don't have an open jar, because I save my little jars for my pigments, this worked. Yay! It worked! Then what I like to do is put them in these jars that I save for different things. Like this one. And then when I'm mixing my pigment, you can physically see everything that's going on inside. All right, so new paintbrush. New paintbrush. Now that should be more than enough. Hopefully I didn't put too much. And if I did, oh well. So I'm going to paint this, and then we're going to paste or glue on our images here. And what you're going to notice is that when I glue them on, I'll be able to add my pigment to those little images after. I just want to make sure I get that paint in here and all the little crevices. Gives it an interesting look when you do this to it too. It gives it like a design, a little dabby design, which I don't mind, but I just want to make sure I get it in there really good. And of course it's going to need a second coat, but to start off, I'm just going to keep painting it all the way around. It's interesting to me that the bottom side seems to be the harder side to get painted. So in order for me to get the second coat on, I do have to paint it at least once in order for it to take well. It's a pretty color once you get the whole color on exactly how you want it. It's a beautiful color. Kind of looks like stained wood that's already got the seal on it and everything. But I'm not finished with Graham's table. I've got a few more things to do to it. Add one more trim to it and then give it its silver. It's complete silver from the top. And I love it. I'm excited because I'm almost there. Almost there. Ouch. All right, so my whole base, bottom base is painted. I just redid my Lazy Susan, and it's already getting all yuckadoodle. I need to wipe it off a little bit and put a really good sealer on it so that I can just wipe it free after with a baby wipe or whatever, so that it will keep it. So for things that are odd, where they seem to have that natural wood and don't want to grab it, even if I sand it down a bit, I dab it. And it gets into all those little crevices so that I don't miss anything. All right, so I'm going to dry her off and paint her one more time. I'll do the inside part of it, or the inside of the trim, so that I don't have that showing. Sorry for the noise, everyone. And I believe this is an all-in-one. It's a metallic paint, so that's why it has a little bit of a shimmer to it. And then what I like to do when I add wood bin, I want to look for the best side. So I know that I know that. And I am going to add those pieces kind of to the bottom. So this is my best side to put those pieces on. And they're going to go right here. See that? So I'm going to leave this part open. And I know it's got two little clear stripes. This one's got a big one. So if I go like this with my hand all the way around, just my pinky, you'll notice there's no paint on my pinky. So that's how I know it's ready for the second coat. And I haven't put too much paint on so that I don't mess it up. I normally come on a lot earlier, like before 12 o'clock, but I was just being lazy today. It's Friday. Gots to be lazy on Friday. No, I will make sure from this point on I come in before 12 o'clock. That's usually what I do. I go in before 12 o'clock. Now the bottom really doesn't matter too much as far as making sure the paint is perfect. There's no such thing as perfect in my category. I don't usually use the word or even say it because I'm not perfect. Only God is. That's how I look at it. But it doesn't look too bad. And the other reason why is the fact that it's going to be sitting down on the bottom. Nobody's going to see the bottom at all. That's the front. Okay, so I'm going to do every part of it as well as possible. The one thing about the paint too is that, and I don't know if it's just me or if everybody's got this thing, the harder you press down on your paintbrush, the more it's going to come off. It's not going to sit as well as you want it to be. The lighter you go, the nicer it goes on. So my second coat of paint, I could tell, is already coming on nicer. Now I gotta make some kind of funky design on there so I know this is the front. Let's see, I won't paint that part. That's what I'll do. I won't paint the bottom piece. Paint the bottom everywhere except for the front of this one. This way I know that's the front. That's my front. So if I go slower and lighter, I know my paint's going to take a lot better. Much better. Yeah, I'm leaving that open on purpose. This way I know for sure it's my front of my bowl. The front of the dough bowl. There it is. Okay. I got it. Looks pretty. And I still have paint left over, so that's a good thing, because just in case I have little spots that I need to touch up, I'll have it ready for me. And this I'm going to stick in my water and clean it off real quick. So I've been playing with resin here and there. And I did some, did I bring them in here? I did some earrings last night. I actually did a full tray last year, a big tray like you bring in and put your stuff all on to have dinner or whatever in your bedroom. I did one of those last year. And gosh, what in the world did I do with them? Anyway, it needs another coat. That's all there is to it. Oh, there they are. So I thought, since I didn't do a super great job at it, I'm going to make sure that I start slow and learn how to really play with this stuff good, in a good way, so that I can learn how to play with it and work with it. So yesterday, I did these two, hi Miss Yvonne and Cecile. I did these two little earring molds with my resin, UV resin, and it came out great. I mean, not perfect, but it was good. I was happy with it. So it's time to play. Time to play with the resin. Oh my God, here comes the heat. California heat. I gotta figure out which part is dry. And I'm using my pinky on purpose because every other finger's got paint on it. So if you look at my finger, there's no paint at all. So this way I know for sure it's thoroughly dry. It's just hot like a tomato. Hot tomato. All right, so I didn't paint the front of this portion on purpose. As you can see, that part's painted. This part's not. Because I want to make sure that I knew which part was the front. So I always pick a front, whatever the bowl is that I'm using, or glass, that I think is best to put my widget bin on, or whatever you're using. All right, so we stained these with Tobacco Road from Dixie Belle, and they look like chocolate candies or root beer. Quite a bit different of a darkness than the Saturé, which is actually what I wanted to do. But I'm thinking, really thinking, I want to take it apart. So if you look at these, they're both obviously exactly the same. But I want to switch my rose and my leaf, because I think it would look funny if I put one upside down and one not. Maybe not. Maybe not. I guess that's the beauty of contrast, right? Do whatever you feel like doing. You know what? I think I will leave it. And I think I'm going to push it right to the middle a little bit instead of coming way up to the top, because if you use something like this for flowers and you put it at the very top, most likely you won't see them. If you put it in the middle, it'll work out a lot better. So, okay, so this is what we're going to do. There's my top. I'm going to take the glue. And you add a little glue to this. To activate your glue, you're going to warm it up with your heat tool. And you really don't need a lot at all. It's very concentrated glue. She will. We have a plan, Miss Yvonne and I, to do a double yet together. I'm ready, so when she's ready, we're going to do a double together and play with the resin. See what we can create. All right, so it's covered in glue. We'll get this other one covered. You can use the glue with your fingers, paintbrush, whatever you like doing it. However you want to do it is how you do it. And then, of course, you know you can get this through the link as well. All the images, all the trims, and I want it to go this way. Right, so I'm going to have my one set of roses upside down. I know that's going to probably look funny, but I kind of feel like that's what I want to do. So, in order to make your girls stick really well, heat them up. And it doesn't take a whole lot. So one thing this way. One thing you have to know when you're playing with wood bend, you can literally wrap it around a glass. Literally. So it's going to make a big mess with the glue. That's totally okay. And because there's a little bit of a rounded edge here, I'm making a big fat mess right now. Let me show you. See that? And the glue does come clear, does get clear. Or you can take a paintbrush and wet it and wipe it off. You can take a Q-tip. I like using the Q-tips. Whatever you like. And clean it off. Then the more you heat it up and press it down, because you're going to have to press it down for it to stick really well. And the more you push it down, the more glue you're going to see seeping out of it, which is a good thing, because then that tells you that it's completely adhered to your surface. So I always try to take off at least the first edging of it. To get off some of it off as much as possible, and then whatever's left over, I don't worry about it. I just leave it, and I have seen it dry clear like no problem. So this is the last of my little doll bowls, of these ones. I'm sure I'll find more. Now the more you warm up your wood bend, the more it gets Play-Doh-y, which sounds funny, but it will literally wrap around a glass for you. You just want to push it down, make sure it's right where you want it, and it will literally turn into Play-Doh. And since I'm new on, you see how I pushed it down and more glue seeped out? That's a good thing. It's a real good thing. I just think it makes everything look so pretty. It totally changes what you're doing from simple to elegant, or however you want to verbiage it. Change your wording for it. Verbiage it. That's not a word. What is that? What is that? I hope you're all laughing with me, because that was so wonky. Total wonky. Oops. You see, this is why I said using a cotton ball wouldn't be too great when it comes to staining, because the cotton ball is coming off of this. All the like little hairs from the fibers of the Q-tip, which is odd, you see, because it never does that usually. There's always a way to get it off. And when it gets this close, if that much glue starts coming out of it, what I like to do is then I'll take a paintbrush and use a little water, and it'll come off the rest of it. All right, so far here we are. See that? And this one right here wasn't straight, so it had to like wrap around a tiny bit onto the surface. If you want to try this, the link is there for you. If you don't have a heat tool this hot, you can still use a hair dryer for it. Doesn't matter. It might take a little longer, but it will still do the trick for you. But I do bottle art occasionally, and you'll see it wraps around a glass. So you can use it for anything. I've used it for plastic pots for my outside gardening portions. Hi, Shelly. And I've used it for, of course, my glass, ceramic pots, wood. You can pretty much use it for anything. All right, give me a little paintbrush and a little bit of water. And I just use my spritzer. And I'm just going to clean up that excess glue. This is a terrible paintbrush. I need a stiffer one. Yes, this is better. Terrible paintbrush. I think you can just use a wipe too. I've never used the wipe though. Kind of scares me because I don't want it to mess up the paint. But I'm always into trying something new, no matter what, even if I mess it up, because you know, you can always use your paint and fix it up again. You can always repaint it. So you see what it does? It's like making bubbles with it. I think I'm gonna take those. I've got some rags that are, you know, those rags that we use to wash our cars with, or get them from the. I don't want to get them brand new. I want some that are old, because you know when you use a rag that's brand new, it will have the little fibers just like a Q-tip or a cotton ball, that all the little fibers will come off until it's washed or used a few times. And like I said, I could use my husband's dirty old socks, but no, they probably smell. To me, the Q-tips work the best. That's why you saw me using the Q-tips first. But I do like to play with different items just to see what will work better the next time. You know, sometimes maybe the first thing you use doesn't work as good, and something else will work better. And I can see some spots where I could use a little more paint. The other thing you could do is just spritz your item like I just did. So you're not putting too much water. Sometimes I spritz too much water in my paint or in my brush. And this little part. And this little piggy went to town, and he's got some dirty crevices in his crown. I just will see some extra little white spots from the glue, or I'll end up chipping the paint a little bit from it, which I just did 3 times. It's okay though, not worried about it. For me, I think I'll stick to Q-tips. I think they're way better. Way better. And then whatever parts that I do miss, this isn't a good one. The water's good. Q-tips are the best. To me, the Q-tips are the best. You know, there's a lot of us that do this, and you don't know which person likes doing it a certain way, you know, because we all have our own little technique on doing things a certain way. But for me, I just really love the Q-tips. It just grabs it. And see, just because I put the water there or push the heat tool on it to dry it, watch. Look at the glue that's coming out. That's why I like the Q-tips. It grabs it a lot easier, and I chipped it from scrubbing it too much from the rag, the little wipey. All right, she's good. All right, so I'm going to take my paint and touch up the paint scuffs that I just did. And then I can also paint the rest of the little spots that I didn't do. And now, because now we know which part's the front, right here. So just a little bit of paint, just to hide those little spots that I chipped. Doesn't need a lot. And I'm not touching the wood bend piece, because we're going to use that to add some pigment to it so that we can see it even better. And I really appreciate all of you hanging out with me, because I know I don't normally come on this late. But as I said, I was being lazy this morning. Oh, I was being lazy. All right, so see how much prettier it looks already? And I haven't done anything to it yet at all, except for stain it. This is stained, it's not the saturé. And then add this to it, my saturé color. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my second coat. And I'm definitely going to cover this part right here, because one of them that I did, I didn't cover this portion of it, and I had to go back in after I did my floral arrangement, left the flowers and paint underneath there because you could see it and it looked nasty. And using the gator sander to sand it a tiny bit did the trick. Did the trick, except for those little spots that have little indentations from the painting. Where did I put it? Oh, here. Where did I put it? I just need a tiny bit. Just a little bit. have little indentations in your wood, whatever wood you're using, what I do is what I call stippling it, dabbing it, stipple it, whatever you want to call it, because those little chips in the wood don't let you cover it until there's a little bit of wood and a little bit of paint in there. Then when you go to do your second coat, it helps. It helps a lot because then it picks it up. I'm not worrying about the inside. We don't need to worry about the inside because it's going to be all covered up and fixed. But whoever made these, as tiny as they are, they really do make a cute arrangement with. So I did 3. I did a strawberry one, a baby one for a baby shower, and I'm doing this one. Was there 4? 1, 2. Is that one too? Oh no, yeah. So here's one that I did. It's got strawberries in it, and if you look down, you'll see a little strawberry. What do you call it? Sunflowers. Sunflowers. And it's great for a little tiny piece like that, you know? A nice little centerpiece for a spot that you have in your house that you need something for to make it look cute. Or if you have a kitchen with a long island, you don't want to cover up the whole island. You just want a portion of it to be covered, or a portion of it to have a little cutie in there. So I'm just going a little slower. The fan's drying it for me. Because if I go too hard, I won't cover it good. If I go too fast, my paint comes off. That's one thing I have noticed. So I just want to make sure. This little part right here is what I'm not getting. All right, I'm going to dry it, and that little spot that had a little bit of paint for it needs it. And then we're going to put some pigment on our flowers, and she will be done. And for me, when I'm doing things, I don't like to go and buy pre-made containers that are already beautiful and ready to go. I like to buy things that are rustic, a little, refurbish it, and then put my flowers in. I like to do everything from beginning to end. So if you're new to my page, I hope you'll give me a follow and come watch the fun. Okay, I'm going to give it one more little bit right here. I'm just going to look for holes. You know, when you're doing flower image, you got to look for the holes. Well, I'm looking for the holes on the wood that I missed. The little spots that I might have missed that need a little touch. All right, we good. Look, all the paint's gone now. I got it. All right, so one more little noisy thing. All right, now I could use a paintbrush. I could use my fingers. You could use a Q-tip. You could use whatever you want pretty much to put on your pigment. Okay, so there it is, what we're going to do. So now I got to see if this is the one I want. This is Byzantine gold. See how pretty it is? And it's light. It's not too dark. And when you do this, you don't want to go, unless this is what you want. Okay, I always say you don't want to do it, but unless that's what you really want, everybody does their own designs their own way. So I'm looking for a square paintbrush. All right, this will work. Okay, so you got a square paintbrush that's really fluffy. And I never do it, I never do it like this way. Why? Because all that gold is going to go in between every little inch of your crevices. And then most likely you won't see too much of your brown. So what I do is I will put some in my brush. You see a lot of it's not in the tip. It's on the sides. You see that? It's on the side, not inside the brush. And then I dab it off my lid. That lid's got lots of gook in it. And I brush it across the top of it. And all it's doing is picking up the highlights of your image. And I just hit the bowl. And when my brush runs out of pigment, I flip it over. I always make sure I've got it on both sides. And if I wipe it off the bowl right there right away, it'll come off, but I didn't do that, so now it's not going to. But the minute I touched it, if I'd have, excuse me, if I'd have wiped it off right away, you wouldn't see that. I mean, it's no big deal. All I have to do is touch it up with a little paint and hide that portion. But just flat. I'm just going flat across it, and whatever little bits of pigment that's on there is what it's picking up. And if I need more, I just pull it from the tip of my lid. And I know I don't need more, just to say and show you. Like I said, if I'd go like this, it would go in between all the crevices, and then you really wouldn't see it that much. All right, so where's my bowl at? Where's that little bowl? There it is. So because I scuffed it on the side of the bowl a tiny bit, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. And you're not the one I want. And you know what? I'm just going to get a new paintbrush. And I'm just going to squirt it with water to pick up the little bit of coloring that's here. Because I don't need a lot. There's no use pulling out more paint from the what do you call it? I just need a little bit of it to fix that little bit of gold that I stuck there by accident. And if it doesn't work, add a little paint to it. It worked, but I still think I need a little bit of paint. So I'm not going to stick it in the bowl. I'm just going to pull it from the lid. Because if you look at the lid, there's always paint in your lid. You see that? Always. So I'm just going to tap it right here a little bit so I can hide that pigment that I made a boo-boo with. And let me tell you, that pigment works good. It works very good. So there she is. You see that? How pretty it looks now? You would never know it was the same bowl. So now when I sit it down, now this is the only bad part. When you sit it down, you can barely see it. But you'll be able to see it from a distance no matter what you do. That little flower comes out. Isn't it pretty? I just love it. I love it, love it, love it. So I'm going to leave it this way, not just so y'all can see it, but so that it can be drying off for me, because I don't want it to not. So I always put my pigment in these little jars. I have them, actually this is a makeup, it's eyebrow makeup pomade, and I emptied out the jar and I loved it because it's the just right size to put your pigment in so that you guys can see me mixing it with it. So it works, whatever works, right? So there she is, she's all ready now. And Monday or Tuesday when I decide to come on, because I'm not sure, she'll be ready for some flowers. And I already know what flowers I'm going to put in here. She's going to be a duplicate for the wreath up there. Or this one. She'll be her matching table centerpiece is what I'm going to do. Make a matching table centerpiece for this wreath. So that will work. All right, short people. So that's about it for today, guys. Thanks for hanging out as always, and thanks everybody on YouTube for joining me. I'm super excited. So just remember, every Friday I'm calling it Fun Friday because we are inviting YouTube to join us, everybody. So everyone have a blessed weekend, and I will see you next week. Just watch for the post. Bye-bye. All right, how do I turn this thing off? This is new for me, you guys.